Do you like variety in your long playing albums? We don't have that very much anymore. You know, a bit of blues and then a bit of rock and a bit of punk and a bit of soul. And we don't get that anymore. And we don't get it well done much anymore. This is brilliant. Brilliant. And how Frank Meyer from the Streetwalkin Cheetahs just does an amazing job of doing it all. This is a great record. Hey group, welcome to Next Right Corner. I'm your host, Richard May. You know Frank. Streetwalkin Cheetahs. Isn't Streetwalkin Cheetahs like one of the big four of action rock? Pretty much you always see around my shoulder a Streetwalkin Cheetah album, because that's where I keep them, among other bands. We'll mention a couple. Because, you know, Streetwalkin Cheetahs, don't ask me right now for my big four. You know. But at this moment, after hearing this, Streetwalkin Cheetahs just, my respect for Frank Meyer just multiplied with this record. You know, if you're kind enough to listen to me before, you may have heard me say that I like a record that sticks to one sound for the entire record, whether there's an EP or whatever it is. Like AC/DC. Just give me AC/DC all the way through. AC/DC doesn't go into a love song. AC/DC doesn't go into a reggae song. AC/DC is AC/DC all the way through their album. And we love them for it. And that was the lesson of the 80s, is that people realized, oh, let's give people what we got, consistent, all the way through the record, and that's where they're going to get. And we love those records. But before then, 1960s, 1970s, the theory was of an album is that we got to give people variety. Got to give them, oh, did I just grab it and lost it? I think I did. It's like Tommy Bolin's, here it is. This album has me excuse me. Don't pick this for the thumbnail, YouTube. The Tommy Bolin's teaser. That would be top of mind. One artist doing a variety of things on the same record from the 1970s. But he's doing a bit of jazz and a bit of reggae and a bit of this and that. This is my favorite example from the 70s. I'm sure there's people screaming at me right now going, what about when? Sure, yeah. About Friday on an album. And of course the grandfather of Friday on a record is the Beatles. But of course, they cheated. It's 4 different songwriters. Paul McCartney's Silly Love Songs, Lennon with wherever he was going, George Harrison's Beautiful Music, and then Ringo being silly. But, you love that for the Beatles. It all meshed together. This meshes together and is sequenced so that it doesn't get jarring when it goes from like a ballad. And yes, there's a couple ballads here. And you don't mind them. They're well done. They're not color by number ballads to get a hit. And he's singing with brilliant guess. Because that's the other thing. Usually I don't care if they bring in a guest vocalist on a lot of records. I could care less. But Frank, being the leader of one of the big 4 action rock bands, he brings in some heavyweights to help vocally on his record. How about Sherry Carey from the Runaways, the original singer, before Joan Jett totally took over on the last couple of records. But the first 2, Sherry Carey, she comes in on a song called Piece of Me, singing about stardom and the pressures of stardom. Brilliant song. Great song. And when you see me turn, because I cover up my Runaways nowadays, but the Runaways is always right there. Another band, always over my shoulder. The Belloways, with Lisa, their lead singer. She sings the title track, Living Between the Lines, a bit of blues. Great song. And of course, you always see the Belloways. What about them? Another cornerstone band of the action rock community, I think. And then, for a bit of rock and roll, Partners in Crime with Eddie Spaghetti from the Super Suckers. You don't see the Super Suckers as much as we ought to, maybe. It's kept below. There's a bunch of CDs below that you don't see on camera. I use this to store my stuff. So my Super Suckers is behind me below the camera picture. And darn good song there too. So, Lisa, Eddie Spaghetti from Super Suckers and the Belloways. That's, for what we are, Action Rock Corner, that's cornerstone, top level stars. And of course, with Sherry Carey, she's like, forgive me, Sherry. Don't want to play anyone's age here. just like the grandmother of any female rock, punk band, whatever. With her and Joan Jett and Lita Ford, her bandmates. Yeah. She is definitely, the parent of any female in action rock right now. If you don't own any Runaways, ever heard Cherry Bomb and whatnot, maybe lame. I don't know. Fix that. Go listen to the Runaways. So, but it goes over. You get 60s pop in blue radio with the ukulele. I can't remember ukulele, which is a small guitar, teeny guitar, since Tiny Tim. And yes, I did see Tiny Tim live once, but I was 12. I had an excuse. I didn't know what I was doing. It was a tent thing. Hey, you want to go see Tiny Tim? He's performing over there. Okay. So, yeah, and there's a video for Blue Radio. There's a video for Baby Dynamite, the lead-off track, which is about his daughter, Frank Meyer's daughter. And that's a cool video. And of course, doing my homework, Frank Meyer is an experienced TV director, video director. So he directed 2 videos for this album and directed himself because he knows what he's doing. He's a pro. Outside music, he did 10 years working full-time, producing TV, directing TV. But the variety is so great, and the sequencing, it isn't jarring where it switches gears. It works out wonderfully. And I kept 3 songs. Could have kept a whole lot more. You may pick different songs. I kept Family Tree. About a certain kind of family. You want to jump out of that tree. Goodbye, Arkansas. I've never been to Arkansas. When we have a former president of the United States from Arkansas. But, he's saying goodbye to Arkansas. He had a bad experience in Arkansas. Breakup. And the third song I kept with a horn section much akin to the Iggy and the Stooges Funhouse record. And the song Funhouse, which Frank covers often in a show with the Streetwalkin Cheetahs, a band name taken from a lyric line from Iggy and the Stooges. Heck, he's even in a band toured with James Williamson from the Stooges. Frank Meyer has good taste. The song is Who Stole the Soul? Absolutely brilliant song. And those are the 3 I kept. I could have kept any number of these songs. Yeah. This Dirty Town, a touch of Minnie the Moocher at the end. You'll know it when you hear it. It's great. The All Killer, No Filler. Absolutely great record. And, so you get punk, rock and roll, soul, blues, country, metal. What more in life do you want? And this is his debut solo record. Now, I read that he's working on a follow-up. And wasn't that impressed with the cover, Frank. Oh, it's a personal record. It's rock and roll, Frank. Reassure me. I was nervous with this album cover. I'm going, I love the Streetwalkin Cheetahs, but geez. He chose that for album cover? Yeah, it was a lot of heavy stuff he was going through at the time, as he says. But that isn't what's comes through. It's just the sheer joy of music and various styles of music that comes through. And remember, when you look him up, he's not Frank J. Meyer. That's a country guy. Not the same. There's a whole bunch of Frank Meyers. Like there's a whole bunch of Richard Mays. Popular name. And Frank Meyer is a popular name too. And can I just vent for a second? Love Frank. Love this record. Love the Streetwalkin Cheetahs. Own a bunch of them. Love the friends he had come in to do the record. Holy moly. And the only reason I learned of this record, this is what frustrates. It came out last year. Somehow, I didn't hear this record. Okay? It's a new world in the 21st century. You have to go find records. You can't just sit back and go, oh, is there anything new from the guys in the Street Rock? No, you have to go find it. So I did not find this record until a couple days ago it was. Because I'm looking at something, maybe on Facebook. He's on tour. Hey, see Frank Meyer on tour. And it occurs to me, I wonder if he has an album out to promote his solo show. Or is he just playing, Streetwalkin Cheetahs songs? I don't know. Look it up. I'll look it up. Here's the record. Came out last year. Oh, he's on tour. I would love to see him on tour. He's going to come through Cleveland. He did come through Cleveland. I didn't hear about it. It came through last November. Reason why I didn't hear about it? He played Smedley's bar, which is up the street from me. I'm not sure where I'm facing, but it's over there. I could walk there if I really wanted to. Smedley's don't have touring bands. Smedley's, when you look up, Smedley will tell you. Smedley's, we have local bands. Yes, you do. And there's a couple bikes in front of the joint. Yeah, it's nice, biker-friendly, blues, local, rock and roll. That kind of biker sort of thing in a nice section of town that I'm sure they'll like to get rid of him. He played there. They don't have touring. How in the world am I going to find out you're playing at Smedley's? It would have been an intimate show. It's a nice sized bar. You could play smaller places. There's a thing out of Cleveland. I love being in the big city of Cleveland. I do. But there are so many hole-in-the-wall places. Hole-in-the-wall places you can have a show at. in Cleveland. Every other thing I look at, it's like, you're playing where? They have bands? It's amazing to me. It's not just I lose track of how many places have live music when I'm just having a conversation or writing online about, because they're talking about more places open up for shows in Cleveland, and, for big amphitheaters, whatever, next to our known Dome Stadium. And of course, the Dome Stadium would be available for shows. You cut it off so it can be a 10,000 seat show, in the big butt Dome Stadium. So another place you can play in Cleveland, when it's the winter. And then there's a blatant place. It's somebody's basement of a private home, and they do shows in their basement. Yeah, it's in the city of Cleveland with not the strictest zoning laws. It was zoning enforcement. So, and bless her heart, no shade. Go ahead. But try getting away with that in the suburb. Ain't happening. In the city of Cleveland, yeah, why not? Just be nice to the neighbors. It's really crap. So, great record, great variety, and I think I expressed my love for it. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. Frank Meyer, Living Between the Lines. Looking forward to the follow-up. Or whatever you're doing, Frank. Just try to get word to me. Frank's in Los Angeles. Since he worked as a director on TV, of course he's working in Los Angeles. Genre, it's all over the place. It's rock and roll, babe. Is this actually action rock? Debate. It's just great rock and roll. There's action rock in there. But, usually the rule is if you get into ballads and slow, it's not action rock anymore. But it's a great record. It's a brilliant record. Absolutely. Album for mixed company. Get to hear Lisa and Sherry. And is there anything to offend anybody here? Oh, I'm pretty easy about this stuff. I don't think so. I don't think there's anything controversial here, is there? Even if, leaving Arkansas, it's not necessarily negative. It's just he's breaking up with somebody. And, we're romanticizing violent crime with Eddie Spaghetti. That might be a bit much for some people, if you're a victim of crime or something. But, hey, it's a joke. Eddie and Frank are not going around knocking off banks in real life and fleeing to Mexico. He's a good man. You're just kidding. He's not knocking off banks with Eddie Spaghetti. And, no. Nothing offensive here that I can, other than maybe Frank and Eddie Spaghetti knocking off the bank and shooting some poor soul in the back of the head. That's wrong. Let's make it. That's wrong. Don't do that. They're just kidding. They're just being characters a protagonist in a story song. You like this video? Give it a like. Subscribe to Action Rock Corner. Ring the notification bell. And go listen to Frank Meyer. Living Between the Lines. And come back. And what do you think? For latest in action rock, energy rock, garage, punk, psychobilly, and stoner and psych. Anything really, and classic legacy bands. Anything really rocks. We'll have it here for you at Action Rock Corner. Thank you for putting up with me. We're talking about, God, I listen to this album a lot. I was going to squeeze in another review today, and it's like, nah. I got to listen to this some more. It's really good. Check it out. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon.